computer. Okay.
Cool. And then go to the screen.
Okay, here we are.
No, can you see us?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. All right. No, good, because I can't. So all good, honey.
All right. Okay. Hi, everyone. We're back with another Video-Wise short practice video. And this video is about developing goals collaboratively with a parent. Our previous video on developing goals collaboratively was between a supervisor and a worker. And we promised that we'd come back and do this one. And I think, Son, it's nearly 2 years later that we finally got around to it. So I'm Catherine Santoro, and this is my friend and colleague, Sonia Parker. Over to you, Son.
Thanks, Kath. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, as Kath was saying, all our plans to do lots of short video clips on practice kind of went by the wayside in the last couple of years, but that's our plan now, is to continue. So my name's Sonia Parker. I'm here on Whadjuk Noongar country in beautiful Perth, and I want to take a moment just to acknowledge the elders past, present and emerging, the Noongar elders of this beautiful land that I'm living and working on.
Thanks, Son. And I'm on the other side of our wonderful country, and the traditional owners over here are the people from the Eora Nation. I'll get it out in a sec.
So yeah, as Kath said, we're going to be looking at developing goals collaboratively with a parent today. And as for our previous videos that we've done, we're not trying to make this perfect. We're trying to make this real, as we would be working in practice within the context of a role play, obviously, as we're using it. So as Kath said, our focus for this video is goal statements. Our previous video looked at developing goals collaboratively between the supervisor helping the worker to get clear on their thinking around what they would need to see to be confident the children were safe and well enough in the care of the parents. In this video, we're going to look at how do we develop goals collaboratively with parents. So how do we first elicit the parents' views on the goals and then bring that collaboration together to get the goals clear and ensuring that there's sufficient safety and protection articulated within the goal. So let's have a look at the formula that we use for goal statements. Kath, would you just mind just jumping back to the previous one? Thanks. If we just look first at the sort of a very loose formula that we use for goals. Now, the formula is not meant to be prescriptive. The formula is meant to be a guide to help you kind of think about, what do I want to make sure is contained within a goal statement? So the first part that we try and articulate within the goals is what would be different for the children and family. So what would we be seeing in terms of safety and protection within those worrying contexts? In relation to the danger, for example, or in relation to kind of high risk situations. The second component we want to think about is, if this was happening, what would we want to see in terms of positive impact on the children? What would we be seeing that would tell us that there was now enough safety and protection? And the final component, which can often be tricky for people, is how long would we need to see this safe and protective behaviour demonstrated for to be confident that that had now become part of how the family operates, so that we can be confident that this behaviour has become embedded and has become part of the family's life, particularly in those worrying contexts, and that we're confident we can close the case and that the children will be safe and well into the future. So that's what we're talking about in terms of the sort of structure of a goal statement.
Yep. Thanks, Son. Okay.
Okay.
So there's a clear relationship between worry statements and goal statements. And in another previous video, our very first Video-Wise video, we did a worker and a mum developing a worry statement together collaboratively. So worry statements, just to go back over it very quickly, it's what we're worried the parents or the caregivers will or will not do, actions and inactions, in these worrying or dangerous contexts that could have a harmful impact on the child. And worry statements have a future focus to them. They're what might or everyone believes or worries that might happen if nothing changes for the family. And it's our reason for being involved with the family. So for every worry statement in a case planning process with the family, we want to have some corresponding goal statements. And these goal statements are simply, as Sonia just said, what we want to see the parents doing instead in these worrying contexts to protect the children from these dangers or these worries. And it's the time frame again, thinking about the time frame, we need to see that demonstrated for a while, because it's about sustainability. When we go away, we want to see the family be able to maintain these behaviors that keep the kids safe and keep the family together, and that everyone's confident after we go away and close the case that this will continue and the family know how to do things differently. Okay. Do you want to talk a little bit about the context on?
Yeah, we wanted to include a slide here that just highlights the context. And you may have heard many solution-focused practitioners, sort of safety-centered, family-centered practitioners say things such as context is everything. So when we talk about the worry statements, when we talk about the worries that we hold for a family, if we know the context in which there's a greater likelihood that those worries will occur. So, for example, if we're worried about a dad or a partner being violent to the mum and the impact that that's likely to have on the kids, the greater our understanding of the context in which that occurs, the more we can be focused in terms of our intervention with the family. So if we know the context, it really helps us to really target and focus the goals. Now, when we're working with some families, particularly in the early stages of working with a family, we don't necessarily understand fully, or it's very likely we won't understand fully the circumstances, the complexities. There may be issues of power and control, of coercive control. There may be issues of substance use, of mental health challenges. There could be many challenges that the family are dealing with. And we don't necessarily understand or know all of that in the beginning, and families may not be willing to share the realities of what they're dealing with in the beginning. But the more that we can understand the context, and the more that we can bring our curiosity and set our judgment aside to be able to really try and understand what's happening for the family that's leading to those worrying circumstances or to that danger being present, the more we can help to focus the goals and focus the intervention. Because then we're asking the question in terms of the goals of, so in that context, rather than seeing the worrying behavior, what do you think people want to see you doing instead that would be protecting the children? That really helps families think through what they're doing differently, what they could be doing differently. And I actually have never forgotten working with a client where the dad said to me, when I asked that question, he said, "Seriously? Is that all I need to do?" I wish someone had told me that a really long time ago. So I think the questions, when we're really understanding the context, can really help to lessen a sense of blame or shame, or lessen the sense that we're saying everything's terrible. We're saying within this context, here's what we're worried is going to happen. And what do you think people would want to see you doing instead? That can be really helpful.
Yeah. One of the things the formula does is help us really get clear about the goals, because what often happens in case planning practice, especially with people that are new to developing goals collaboratively with families or new to casework, is that they often get confused between action steps and goals and what a goal statement. So the goal statement formula helps us unpack that. And goals are like end destinations, like a GPS in your phone. And it's where we want to get to, or where the family wants to get to, so that those worrying things are not occurring anymore. So goals are end destinations. Action steps, if you look down the bottom here, are how we get to the goal. What will be different? And actions can change along the way. And if you're thinking a little bit, again, like an end destination in your phone, in the maps in your phone, there's lots of different ways you can get to Rockhampton. You could drive a car, you could go in a plane, you could go up there on a boat, you could ride a bike, you could even walk. It'd take you a while. But what happens with actions is sometimes we try different actions or ways of getting to the goal because it's not always a clear path. Sometimes it's backward and forward and round and round. And the goal stays the same, or the goal is the same, what the family want and what we want to see for the family to keep the children safe. So let's dive in. We're going to use the same scenario as we did before in the previous two videos, so it's consistent. So the scenario is Susanna, who's 45 years old. She's got a 15-year-old daughter, Bettina, an 11-year-old son, Ben, and their dad is John, and he's 39 years old. And the hospital child protection worker called Child Protection Services after Susanna brought Bettina to the emergency department with a cut to her forehead, a facial bruise and concussion caused by blunt force impact. Bettina told the doctor she had a severe headache. Bettina told the doctor that her dad had been drinking and pushed her while she was trying to stop him hitting her mum. And then in the previous videos, we developed a collaborative worry statement with the worker and mum, Susanna. And the worker then in the next video developed her view of the goal statement or what needs to happen for this family with the supervisor. Did some preparation to go out then and do this with the family collaboratively. So today, what we're going to do is the worker and the mum as a first step before talking to dad and the network and the kids and the rest of the family. It's the worker and the mum developing a collaborative goal statement. Go.
So we're going to use the whiteboard now as we're working with the to develop the goal statement. I'm going to be the worker. Kath's going to be Susanna, the mum. We've got the worry statement up that the worker. We've got the worry statement up that we developed collaborative. So this is the mum's view, the kids' views, the medical staff at the hospital, and Child Protection Services views on the worries. And the worry was that Bettina, remember Bettina's 15, will try to put herself in front of her mum when her dad is drunk and tries to hit her mum, and that Bettina will get hurt again, like cuts, bruises, and concussion, and that Bettina and Ben will be scared of their dad and won't want to spend time with him. So this is not the only worry, of course, that we hold for the family. We have other worries of the children being in that situation. It's a very specific worry here about dad hitting mum. The context is when dad's drunk in this scenario, and that Bettina, in trying to protect her mum, will put herself in front of her mum, as she has done a number of times, and that she will be seriously injured. So I'm going to now work with this mum as the first step in developing the collaborative goal statement, or I should say the second step. The worker's got herself clear on her view on what she would need this goal to be and what enough safety would look like for this worry. And now I'm going to talk to the mum.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sorry, Kath, did you want to add anything
before I was just thinking, that acknowledging that you will be talking with the father and the children and
Absolutely.
The network of safety and support as well, to hear their views on the goals as well, sharing your views and mum views on the goal and gathering theirs and integrating it all.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the process we very often use is, for example, you'll notice that the dad didn't hold this as a worry for him. He was saying very clearly in the process of working with him that he didn't think, he got a shock in terms of the injuries to Bettina, how hurt she was, caused by him directly, by him pushing her. This is a family where there doesn't appear to be issues of coercive control. We're not seeing coercive control in any other areas of the family's life. We're seeing violence here when the dad is drunk, and there hasn't been a time, to the best of our ability, to explore with the family, with the kids, with extended family members. We haven't learned of any times when Dad's been violent when he wasn't drunk, severely impacted by alcohol use.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about here is our worry about the dad getting drunk and being violent to the mum and causing direct harm to the kids. Now, you can, as I said, you can see that Dad's views, he's not saying he's worried about this. He's saying very clearly, I'm not going to get drunk again and be violent to my wife. And that's a worry that everyone's holding. We don't have a lot of confidence about that at this point. We've not seen that safety demonstrated. So the first step is talking to mum, will be, as Kath said, talking to Dad, talking to the kids, talking to the extended family members as well.
Okay. So the process we want people to understand is for every worry that we hold that we might write at, and as you said, there usually is more than one with a family, that we will have a corresponding goal statement to do that. So the purpose for this video is showing you the process about how to kick off that process collaboratively with a family member or a parent or a caregiver.
Absolutely. Yeah. Susanna, thanks so much for meeting with me again. You know, as we've worked together with your family, we've had times where we've met just the two of us together. We've had times where we've met with yourself and John together. We've had times where I've met with you with the kids, either with John there or without. And there's times we've had, whole family group meetings where we've had your family and many of your network and hospital staff and CPS involved. So as we'd spoken about during the week, you know that I've had a session with my supervisor, and I tried to get really clear on what would I need to see to be confident that this worry wouldn't happen? What would I need to see from your family? And I said to you then that I was going to do that, but I wanted to talk to each of you, including the kids, and really hear from you about what would you want to see? What would you want for your family? What would you need to see happening so that you were confident that this worry wasn't going to happen? And we call these goal statements. So that's what I wanted to do today. And I'll write it up as we go so that you can see what we are discussing. Because this goal statement is your views. I'll share with you afterwards. I'll share with you what I've developed and what I've written down as my goal for you in relation to this worry for your family. So this is your view, and I will be, as you know, I'll be talking with John, I'll be talking with the kids, but I wanted to start with you if that's okay.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look. Now, this is the worry. Now, we wrote this a week ago now, so let's have a look at this. And we did this together, hey, in the family group meeting. Let's have a look. You'd said yourself, the kids, the staff at the hospital, as you know, and Child Protection Services, which includes myself and my supervisor, are worried that Bettina will try to put herself in front of you when John's drunk and tries to hit you. And that Bettina will get hurt again, like cuts, bruises, concussion. And also that the kids would be scared of their dad and won't want to spend time with him. I think that for you was particularly something that you had said you had noticed.
Yeah.
Was happening for the kids, and your worry is that will continue to happen going forward. Now, as you look at that worry statement, is there anything now you've had time to think about that? Anything you wanted to change in that before we move to the goal?
No, I think that still is true and reflects the worries that I have about the family at the moment.
Yeah. And I know it would still be possibly a hard conversation for you and John to be having together, but John at the time said that wasn't a worry for him. He was confident that wouldn't happen again. In conversations you've had with him since, do you think, if I asked you scale of 0 to 10, 10 is John's 100% sure that's never going to happen, and 0 is he thinks it's likely to happen at any moment, where do you think he would be?
I think he is so ashamed of what happened this time. As I told you before, it's never escalated to this level before. I think he's ashamed, and I doubt that he would be honest in that scaling. But I think if he was honest, he might be around a about a 4, I think, a 3 or a 4, if he was
4.
honest. I
Yeah.
think the desire's there, the huge desire not to let this ever happen again. And there's all that other contextual stuff I told you about, the financial worries and being sued, um he's drinking when he drinks, and that he's had a bad day, then it all comes overwhelming for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And where are you on that scale? Just right now?
I'm probably down around a 3 and a 2 to 3.
Yeah.
I never expected it to get this bad, and I got a shock when it did. I'm feeling a lot safer since we've had the immediate safety plan in place.
Yeah.
And we've all been sticking to that for over a week now.
Fantastic.
And John's been sticking to that, and I'm really pleased about that. And yeah, it's been very, very helpful, because before I didn't know what to do.
No, that's fantastic. And as we know, a week's still a short period of time. This is about supporting your family and you together, making sure that things are good long term and safe for the kids and for yourself long term, and safe for John as well. Yeah. So it's great to hear that that immediate safety plan is making a difference, and we'll keep working together and talking together on that. But, you know, these goals are about how do we help you guys to make changes that are going to make sure that your family is safe long term. All right. So let's talk then about what you want for your family, how you want things to be. So I want to ask you, you've said to me that that's your worry about what would happen. Now, if John was to get drunk again, if John was to get really stressed again and just start drinking, how would you want things to be? What would you want to be in place? What would you want for your kids so that you were really confident that nothing like this was going to happen again? What would you want?
I want him to be able to manage his drinking. I would like him not to drink at all, but that's not going to happen. I'd like him to manage himself when he's drinking in a way that's, I want him to stop being violent. Simple as that, Sonia.
Simple as that. Yeah. So you want him to manage his drinking, or even I want to ask you again, Susanna, you'd said to me before that there'd been no violence, because you'd said this is the worst it's ever been, but there's been times before when he's been drunk, when he's pushed you, when he's yelled at you, when he's given you a shove as he walked out of the room. Has there been times when he hasn't been drinking at all, where there's been any of that behaviour, even suggestions of it? You know, a bit of a shove?
No.
Okay.
It hasn't, to be honest.
Okay. So it is around his drinking.
It's around his drinking, and since this court case has started, he's just lost it. He's just totally lost it. I've been married to John for many years. I wasn't frightened before, but now we're all frightened when he gets drunk, and we're frightened because he's, it's his self-esteem, it's our livelihood. He's so embarrassed. Money's so important to him and his family being successful. He's lost everything.
Yeah. So are you okay with him drinking around the family?
If it was like it was before, yes.
And what was it like before?
Yeah, you just have a few beers.
Okay.
And, sometimes you go to the pub or play golf with the boys. You might have a big day out. but he just, you know, he wasn't an angry drunk.
Okay. So you want him to manage, you said you want him to be able to manage his drinking. Yep. Did you also say something about his stress? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, I want him to be able to manage his drinking and stress in different ways.
Okay. Susanna, I'm putting down what you said here. Let me just check it with you. Susanna would like John to manage his drinking and stress in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So if John was managing his stress and his drinking in different ways, what would you want for the kids? What would you want to be different?
That are not harmful to the children and don't make them scared and frightened.
Susanna would like John to manage his drinking and stress in different ways so that the children are not scared and frightened of their dad.
Mm-hmm.
You said before, and I'm sorry, I missed adding it in there. You said before, so that the violence, he's not violent, you said, just so that it's not violence, as simple as that.
Yeah. So they're not scared and frightened of him, and he's not violent.
Susanna would like John to manage his drinking and stress in different ways. So that, are you happy if I move up so that John is not violent?
Yes. Yep.
I move that up to the top there. Now, in terms of John not being violent, do we want to be specific there? So that John is not violent. Violent to you? Do you have
Anyone. To anyone.
for anyone? Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. I can see that.
So that the children are not scared and frightened of their dad.
Mm-hmm.
What would you want the children to be feeling with their dad instead? And feeling within the family instead?
I'd want them to feel safe within the family or with their dad. I want them to feel safe with their dad, and also like home is somewhere where they want to be again.
Is somewhere. Can you see this, Susanna, as I'm typing that?
No, but I think I might be able to in a minute once you stop.
Yeah, I'm sorry we've shut down
Now
again
I
at the
can see.
moment that we're needing to
Yeah.
be in, we can't be meeting face to face. So thanks for being willing to use this technology. And so that home is somewhere where they want to be. So Susanna would like John to manage his drinking and stress in different ways so that John is not violent to anyone, and so that the children are not scared and frightened of their dad, and so that the children feel safe with their dad, and that home is somewhere where they want to be.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
How's that?
Yes.
Does that capture what you are wanting for the kids?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Now, when you think about my perspective on this, and me being the representative of Child Protection Services,
Mm-hmm.
when you think about my perspective on that, let's scale it. 0 to 10, 10 would be, I think that would be enough. If I saw that happening, I'd be really confident that your kids are going to be okay and that you're going to be okay and that as a family. And 0 would be, that wouldn't even begin to be enough for me. Where do you think I would be on that scale?
I think you'd be around a 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, you know, well, from my perspective, wouldn't that be your goal as well?
Yeah, it would. Very close, and you'll see when I share mine in a moment.
Okay.
Very close to what I was saying. Of course, I want to hear from John. I want to hear from the kids. I want to hear from others. But in terms of, you know, what I would need to see, you've captured it very clearly.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you that same question. Scale of 0 to 10. 10 is, that would be enough for you, just in relation to this goal. Not all the challenges you guys are dealing with, not all the hard stuff and the worries, but just this worry. 10 would be, that would be enough for you. If that's what was happening, you'd be confident that you're safe, and particularly that the kids are safe. And that's how you want things to be for your family. That would be a 10. 0 would be, doesn't even begin to cut it. Where would you be?
I'd be at a 10, absolutely.
Okay.
This is what he needs to do, manage his drinking and stress in different ways. The stress is not going to go away. This court case will go on for a while. We don't know what the outcome will be. It might be that, we have to go into bankruptcy. That's a fact. So there will be stress in that as well. So there's no magic wand here.
No.
Managing his stress better.
Now, can I ask you, and Susanna, some people find this a bit of a tricky question to answer, so just take your time. How long would you need to see John doing this, showing you, like, once he gets to a place and he gets the support he needs to learn how to manage his stress and drinking differently, how long would you need to see him managing better, not being violent? How long would you need to see him doing that so you were confident, actually, we're okay? And we don't need an immediate safety plan because he's made some significant changes. How long would you need to see that for to be confident?
A few months, definitely. Not just, I just don't think anyone can change. He needs some strategies. He doesn't have anyone to help him with this. He doesn't know how. So he needs some strategies and some support. So I'd say maybe 5 or 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. He's got to get that support in that time, though. It's not just, the time.
Yeah, so I'm not asking you how long do you think it'll take him to get that support. We don't know yet what that journey is going to be like for him. I mean, once he starts showing you that he can do this differently, how long would you need to see him doing it differently for? How long would you need to see that every time he comes home from playing golf with the boys? If he did it one time, would that be enough for you? Would you be like, he's got it now? So how long would you need to see him doing this for so that you were thinking, you know what, we're okay. We're okay. He can go out and have a few drink with the boys and you're not home going, what's going to happen when he gets home?
6 months.
6 months. Okay. Okay. All right. So Susanna will need to see John doing this for 6 months to be, I don't want to put words in your mouth here. If John was doing this for 6 months, how would you be feeling?
Confident that he's been able to learn new ways.
Learn new ways. Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Well, I think
that's not showing up on the
screen. Let me just click that again. How's that? Is that showing up for you now?
No. Yes, now it is.
Now it is. Okay. We've got this. We've got this. By the end of it, we'll have the technology sorted between us. Okay. So take a moment. I want you to just read that goal statement through again and just check if there's anything there you want to change, anything you want to add.
No, that looks pretty good to me.
Okay. Now, we can do a number of things here, Susanna. I can show you right now the goal statement that I wrote before. Or we can wait, because as you know, I'm going to meet with John after work today. I've got some time scheduled to come to meet with the kids. We're not sure yet if we're going to need to do that over Zoom or not yet. So I can do all of that first, meet with everybody else, get their goals clear for them, and then we bring it all together, including mine, or I can show you mine today. What's your preference?
I think get everybody's and then we just all get together and see if ours are the same then.
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay.
Because what we want to
talk to John and the kids next.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what we want to get to is just as we have one set of worry statements, we've got 3 worry statements for the family. We want to have those 3 goals clear that everyone's agreed to. Everyone's agreed to, and that capture the safety that you want to have for your family, for your kids, and that we as Child Protection Services need to see so that we can be confident, that would be enough. And then we can support you to get there. Okay, that can be then our focus. Everyone's focus will be on supporting you as a family to get there, so that then we can step back and you as a family can move forward, confident that the kids are going to be safe enough. You know, it's not to say difficult stuff won't happen again in the future. It will. Life is like that. But that you'll be making sure that these particular worries, that you've got enough safety in place so that those things don't happen.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I'll type this up and I'll send that straight through. Do you want to just take a screenshot now so that you've got a copy of this?
Yes. Okay. Will do.
So that you'll have that. Great. Okay. Thanks for your time. So I'm meeting with John at 4 this afternoon. He said he's going to Zoom from the office before he leaves today. So I'll touch base with you tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Susanna. Thanks so much. Take care.
We've developed our goal statement with Susanna. Thank you, Sonia. And we want to leave you with an exercise as a takeaway, so that you can run this video and do this exercise with yourself, with a peer or a colleague, or you could do it as a team exercise as well. So we invite you to do a role play and video yourself on your phone. Just get your phone, put the recording on the camera app, and video yourself while developing a goal statement with a parent. I know that sounds frightening and scary to some people and kind of go, yeah, no. But be brave, because watching yourself on video is absolutely the best learning there is. We suggest you use a family you're currently working with so that it's practical and applicable to your work. And afterwards, just debrief. I mean, if you don't want to show anyone else, you don't have to. You can just debrief yourself. But use the following process. 2 to 3 things I did well was ... and stick with those things that you did well first. Because what we do as human beings, we always go to the things we didn't do well. So stick with the process. And then after that, 2 to 3 things you could improve or do differently next time. And I guarantee your skills in developing collaborative goal statements with families will grow.
Yeah, we've got it there. Great. So people can download the CAP framework booklet for free, with 1 million questions about how to develop goals with families.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And there's things, we've both got the videos on both our websites, and there's case plan templates and lots of resources there for everyone, free resources for you.
Fantastic.
All right. Thanks again, Son. Another video-wise video done and dusted.
Fantastic. And wishing everyone all the best in your work with families. This is complex and incredible work that we all do, and wishing you guys all the best and every support as you step forward in your work.
See you next time.
Thanks, Kath.